Oh, okay. Let's get this up and running. Let's hear what we got so far. Let's see. All right, so this stuff is doubling up. We don't want it to double up. Let's get rid of all this. Cool. Turn these things down a little bit. Hand claps down. Okay, so we got that. Now, what I'm going to do here, since what we're going to talk about here first is showing you how to make a kit out of a folder full of samples. So one thing that I often do, I've got all these sample libraries here. And if we go look at these, I've got, let's go in here, the Sample Magic libraries. And what I might want to do is I might want to go in here and I go to Analog House, for example, and all my drum hits. And in here I have a whole bunch of snare drums. And what if I want to take these and make it so I can just have all these in one kit along with my hand claps maybe. So what I'll do is I'll go in here and make a new drum rack. And go back into my Sample Magic sounds. And I'll grab them all holding down Shift. I'll Shift click them over here in my browser window. Hold down Shift and click them. And just drag them in like this. Boom. So now they're all in one drum kit. And what I can do is, if you go over here on the left-hand side, hold on, that's a little bit there. Go over here on the left-hand side, I can click and drag up and down here. I'm going to grab my hand claps as well. There's not very many. And drag these in. There we go. So now I've got some snares and some claps in here. And if I want to save this, I'll just save it as snares and claps. SM45. Analog House. There we go. And now I can save this. Boom. And I'll put this into my Ableton plugins over here under drums. That would be down here under snares and claps. Boom, right there. Okay, so I have that. So now I've got all my samples here. And I can just take this one. Sounds better. Yep, cool. Okay, awesome. Let me go ahead and make sure what I'm doing over here in OBS. Let's see if this works. All right, cool. And I might want to double this up a little bit. Let's just see what other sounds we got here. Turn this clap off here. Okay, so that one there, I think would sound pretty cool, but not on every. So right here, and then this one, let's make that one into its own sound. So that's a snare drum 1, and here's snare drum 2. Let's move that. Cool. I got this hand clap over here. And this one here, wait, that's a snare drum, sorry. This hand clap here. Cool. Change that up. Get rid of this. Now let's find a good sound for this one. And what I'll do is, we had some hand claps in here, so what I'll go ahead and do, I'll just duplicate this, drag this over here. I'm gonna move this hand clap here to here. Let's hear what it sounds like. Move it from the snare drums up to our hand claps. And I'm using my arrows to move that up. Go in here. Too long. Yeah, it's pretty cool sounding. Now, one thing you can do, let's I can do this, I'll do this a lot for just like thickening up some sounds or adding some variety to things. And I'll just record it with this microphone here. Let's just go ahead and, I'm gonna go ahead and stop everything right now. And make a new track over here. And I'm gonna call this one Tony Claps. Tony Claps. And awesome. Let's go ahead and turn that down a little bit. The microphone here, and just remind me to turn the microphone back up when I'm done doing this. But I'm just going to sample my hand claps, and I'm going to show you a cool little trick for this. So the input here, let's turn that down. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to go in here and record a little bit. Sweet. So I got these recordings in here, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and right-click on this and go to Slice to New MIDI Track. And we're going to do it by the transient. Built in, I'm going to turn Preserve Warp Timing off. And now I have a drum kit that is all of my hand claps that I just did. So listen. This one is, the first one is always weird. Right, what I want to do is I want to make sure I grab the beginning, because it misses the beginning of these a lot of times. It's good just to kind of zoom in, make sure you got that. Awesome. Got that. This little one. Yeah, you want some of these like sloppy ones. Here's this one. Okay, so we got these, and now the other thing I'm going to do with these is I'm just gonna get rid of the end of it, but I'm going to go ahead and classic mode here. We're going to turn the sustain down. Just got rid of the reverb. And now, so now we have these hand claps. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and put these in here. I'm going to put these over here and drag this in like this. Tony, hand clap, Tony. And let's get rid of this one as well. I don't think we want that one either. And there we go. Don't want that. You. There you go. Now you can hear me mumbling to myself, right? Cool. Thank you for reminding me. You're on top of things. I like it. Because I would have totally forgotten. All right, so now I've got all these little hand claps in here. So what I'm going to do, you saw me just move the hand claps. So what I did was I just adjusted the sustain on these all the way down. That release time up a little bit. Now I've got these hand claps here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and put them in here, and I'm going to put a bunch of them. Like that. Let's move these up like that, and let's duplicate this. And make some of these. Yeah, cool. And then the last part we're going to do here, let's go ahead and just hit go on these. So they sound, you know, whatever right now, but if we take these and move them around like this and go to each one, and take them and make them a little bit sloppy. So now, make it a little bit sloppier. Cool. Sloppy claps. Nice. And now, final touch on this is to pan them around Let's pan these bad boys left and right. So much better. Right, you hear how it's sounding pretty good now? I think that sounds good. Yep. Oops. Okay, so now what is this? Is this my nice? Cool. Whoops. I keep zooming in. Sorry. That's not what I mean to do. All right, so we got that there. We got our hand claps. Nice. Let's put a groove on this one here. I'm going to use an MPC groove. Choir of Tony claps. I do this all the time for my house music, and it sounds fantastic for house stuff. Let's go ahead and put all these. Let's put the groove on all these. Okay. Now, wait, let's put the groove on here as well. This little beat loop we got going on, and I'm gonna go ahead and really quantize that real quick so we can make sure we're dealing with all the same stuff. I'm going to go ahead and crop it as well. And it's quantized, but then I'm going to, what's this sound over here? What are you? This as well. Huh, that's so funny. Of course he would say that. That's all right, but cool, that's a little bit better. And that's that. Okay, so we got these here. Let's make that into its own little loop. Let's put our own hi-hat in here, and let's grab a hi-hat. Let's grab a hi-hat from over here. Let's see what's in this kids loop. Let's see if there's a hi-hat. This one didn't really have much of a hi-hat, but one of these I feel like had some street stuff in it. Oh, this one definitely had some street stuff. Let's grab a hi-hat from in here, shall we? So let's move that over to here. And go in here, grab, let's see what we got. I know there's some like drummy stuff in here. Let's see. Hold on. Hey, wow, that's loud, sorry. This one I've got the, oh, I remember. Wait, this. I see what I did. Okay. Turn you down, get rid of you. Okay. Where's all the drums? Yeah. See if I can find part without the pitched instruments. It's like those people are just playing those pitched instruments all the time. I guess it's just, oh, there we go. Yeah, over here. Cool. Sweet. So, there we go. Cool. So what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to worry about the loop for this one at all, because all I want is that cymbal sound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and go to crop clips, and I'm going to turn the warp on so I can grab it, so I can see where my what I'm looking at now is I'm looking at these transient markers. I want to make sure the transients are more or less in the right places. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Bali Sims. I'm going to call it Bali Symbols. I'm going to right click on it and go to Slice to New MIDI. And over here, again, I just use my transients. Turn off the I'm going to turn off preserved warp timing, so I don't need to worry about it. It's going to give me 23 slices. It's going to slice it at the transient. These little dots right here, these little triangles, the transients. I'm going to click on that, hit OK, and now I have my cymbals. Turn off the loop. Cool. And you can hear there's a lot of noise and stuff in here, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of some of the low frequencies, and I'm just going to use my EQ8 to do that, because you can hear there's a ton of low frequencies in here. Whoops. Got that there. Now, let's take this. Something like that. And we'll go over here and I'm going to grab one of these last ones. Cool. Cool. And I'm going to bring this over here to my to my other drums, make them the same color. So we got this going on. So now we got these Bali cymbals in here. And I'm going to take these, make sure I apply my groove. I'm going to crop this. And if I don't like this one here, I can find, that sounds kind of cool. And I'll turn my velocity down on some of these so it fits a little bit better. Nice. Cool. All right, so we got these sounds here. Now let's run all these to the drum group and get it popping a little bit more. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my drum group. And for those of you who were following along last week, or if you caught up on the videos or whatever, then you'll know what we're talking about here. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all these and I'm gonna run them all into my drum group. And this down here, audio 2, drum group, boop. And then drum group no audio from, and turn my monitor to in. Put this back up to 0 for now. And I kind of feel like, now that I'm hearing these hand claps, I kind of like these hand claps, and I kind of want them on more, I want them over here. I want them over here, this part, right? I feel like they kind of belong over here as well. And I'll just move them down, put this one up here. Yeah. Cool. What do y'all think about that? Y'all like that? Sounding pretty cool. And so what I'm doing here, so I can slide this around, is I'm holding down my command key. So if I grab something and I hold down my command key, I mean, I can just slide it around even if I have my grid turned on. I don't know if y'all were catching that or not. All right, change these around a little bit. So now, my drum group, I'm using my drum group plugins here. And the drum group plugins is, oh, let's see my UAD, or wrong ones. I don't have my interface plugged in right now. Here we go, drum group Ableton. Oop. There we go. So these, I'm gonna put to this, to that. So it's not 6 dB, it's just 3 dB. All right, so all right, not sounding too bad. What do y'all think? Is it starting to sound better? How y'all feeling about this? Cool. All right, so now what I want to do is let's get some other like little sound effects going on here, some other little sounds, but let's take them from our drums. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my the kick and the snare drums. I'm going to run those through some other effects, and we're going to resample these. All right. So what we're getting into is resampling. Resampling, what this is it's basically you're taking samples and you're sampling them again to play them back and to loop them and stuff like that. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to throw some effects on here. It's going to sound really, really effecty, and we're going to experiment with it. And so it's going to sound kind of weird at first, possibly. Something that's really great for doing resampling stuff is Guitar Rig. And I'm going to call this one Drum Effects. And we're going to throw Guitar Rig on here. Now, Guitar Rig is a plugin that comes with your complete package, Native Instruments. And the reason why I'm using Guitar Rig is because it's not because it's not for like guitar. It's not, I don't have any guitars in here. It's just because it's just got a lot of really crazy, weird sounds and a lot of cool presets and stuff. So we're going to go ahead and just run this through here. And what I'm going to do is I'm throwing Guitar Rig on here, like phasing. Not for phasing. We're not using it for phasing. We're using it for the drums, for all sorts of things. Phasing's not that interesting of an effect. Hold on. Once again, the sirens. All right, so what we've got here is Guitar Rig. And what I'm going to do is, because I've got Guitar Rig on here, I'm going to go to my audio effects, and I'm going to put the limiter after Guitar Rig. And the reason why I'm putting the limiter here after Guitar Rig, limiter here, and I'm going to go ahead and put the ceiling down minus 5 dB. And the reason why I'm doing that is because some of these presets are quiet and some are loud, and some of them are really loud. So you don't want it to go too loud and kill your speakers or whatever when you're using Guitar Rig for this stuff. And I've got this drum effects here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another track, and it's going to be drum effects bounce, BNC bounce. And I'm going to grab the audio from my drum effects loop, set my mixer to post mixer, my input to post mixer, and we got this. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run this audio into my drum effects. I just put this on the track so I don't have to deal with it later. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to go ahead and run the reverb and the delay back into my drum group channel. Cool. And now go in here to effects. Let's just mess around with some of these. Let's just put some of these in here. Let's go ahead and start with animated. And let's start at the bottom. I always start at the top. Let's start at the bottom here. And third mangler. Let's hear what it sounds like. Huh. There we go. I'm going to turn the volume down on this a little bit so it's not killing us. Now I'm just going to hit record and just start recording stuff. Kind of weird. And I'm going to go ahead and mute this other stuff here. Let's go ahead and mute the reverb as well. Oh, no, nothing's going into the reverb. The reverb is in here, I guess. I kind of like that sound on my kick drum, actually. Let's go ahead and... let's record that by itself a little bit. Cool. You start to get like these weird, you know, cool little sounds. Whoa. This might be cool for our claps. It's kind of a cool sound. All right, let's go to these let's go to drums and see what we got in here. Go ahead, and I'm just listening for some cool sounds. Got a cool little vibe to it. All right. Okay, so I got a bunch of these, some samples that I just recorded in real quick. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go ahead and get this going back out to my master and just turn this off for now. So here we're back to our original sound. And now we can add that in, and this is the sound we just recorded. And you can hear that grit that it adds to it. Let's go ahead and stick this into our, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the low frequency in here because we don't need that low frequency going on in here. And you hear how tough that makes the drum sound. All right, so I got that one there, and I'm gonna go ahead and call this one Dirty Kick, Dirty Bass Drum. Boom, and drag this over to here. And this is an example of resampling. So this is where I took an effect and I put it on there and I resampled it. Now, if I wanted to, I could go in here and I could say, all right, I want to use this as its own little sample. I can right click on it and go to crop clips, or not crop, sorry. Go to slice to new MIDI. Or the other thing I could do, let's actually do this. Let's make a MIDI track here, MIDI track, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off the warp. And I'm going to cut it right here. I'm going to call it bass drum grit tone. I'm going to crop it. And I can actually use this as a new sample for a bass. And you can save recordings as new samples. Yeah, absolutely, you can save recordings as new samples, sure. Yep. So I got this sound here. Let's go in here to this, turn off the snap. Yeah, some people just spend their time just making drum kits and selling them at price. Yeah, absolutely. Some people do. It's not my favorite thing. I get a little bit, I don't know, but so now I've got this. And that's a pretty dope bass. Yeah, nice. And I could also take I could get rid of the click on the beginning. You know, I can have a little bit of that click, and I can fade it. Kind of a cool sound there. So I could take this, now I got this like grit tone thing here, and let's turn off the, let's do this. Let's take this, I'm gonna take this and copy it over to here. I'm gonna turn off my 808. Wait, I turned off my 909, sorry. Let's turn off the 808. And what are you doing? You're playing off. Let's hear that. Hold on. Oh, I know it's coming from this thing here. I'm gonna... All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this play at C3. And now I can program in like a little melody line to it. Go ahead and duplicate that. Cool. And we got this little bass going on. Put the kick drum there. Cool. And y'all see what I'm doing. What I did was I took this bass instrument here. I took this like this bass thing that we just made using guitar rig, and I turned it into a bass line. Let's call this one bass dirty. Dirty. There we go. And I always color my basses a dark red color, just so I know what it is. My drums are always orange, my basses are always like a dark red color. Cool, that sounds pretty dope. Let's go ahead and grab some sounds from in here. Let's see, what else did we find that sounded cool? Let's just hear these by themselves. No. So a way you can go through your samples when you're sampling stuff, a really good way to go through samples quickly is to set your loop to like 1 bar or 4 bars or whatever. I'll set it for 2 bars. And then click on the loop, this part here, and hit your arrow keys up and down. And it lets you go through your loop by the loop length. If I want to move my loop length just a little bit, I can move it by hitting the left and right arrow keys, left and right, right here, left, and up goes forward, back goes down, goes backwards. Awesome. Let's listen to this. That's kind of cool. So we play that with everything else. Turn that down. You know, I got that one there, and here we can. Let's listen to this one. That's kind of cool there. Here, let's make this a copy and go through. Let's listen to this. So we got that there. That's also a cool little sound for the background, right? Just layer it back in like this. So here, let's duplicate this real quick and put this over here and bring this back into our drum group. This. And just put it way down in the mix. Cool. Awesome. All right, let's take another break here. It is 4:51. So let's take another break, and then I can see we're like people are falling off a little bit there. But whatever, it's a beautiful day. I bet people are going outside, right? I hope not. Don't go outside. So let's take a break, 10 minutes, and we'll be back and we'll talk about sampling synthesizers and stuff like that. We'll bring some synths into the whole equation for this. Cool beans. All right, see you in 10 minutes, like 5:02, let's say. Cool.